we are so excited to have you with us. Thank you for your time.
It's really good to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
What do we call you? Do we call you Commander? Do we call you a Colonel? I mean, do you keep that title for life, or how does that work?
I earned them both, so I guess, yeah, but you can call me Chris. I mean, it's just fine. Whatever you're comfortable. A lot of people know me now as Commander Hadfield, so it was a name my kids chose, actually, when they set up the social media site, but it's easy for folks to remember, and I did command the space station, so that works fine,
So
too.
you earned those stripes, and those are yours forever, then?
Yeah, amazingly enough. It seems surreal to say it, though, when I commanded a space station, right? It doesn't, I feel like an imposter, even though it's true. It's such an unusual thing to say.
Well, you know what we're going through right now, looking at you after having been one or two of the million followers of yours on Twitter, and among the 14 million who saw you do this. It's you channeling David Bowie, and you also changed the lyrics for Space Oddity. Tell us about that.
It was originally my son Evan's idea. He's a social media guy, just finished his MBA, and he said, "Dad, everyone wants you to play Space Oddity." And I said, "Why would I play Space Oddity? It's kind of a weird, druggy '60s song where the astronaut dies. I don't want to play that song."
That's an excellent point.
And he said, "Dad, you're not doing it for you. You're doing it for everybody else." So I was thinking, that's interesting advice. Well, I made a deal with him. I said, tell you what, if you rewrite the words so that the astronaut lives, I'll record the song. So it was my son, Evan, who rewrote the words to Oddity so that the astronaut had a more fortuitous ending. And then I recorded the audio. I actually did it just like karaoke. I had David Bowie in one of the original tracks in one ear, and me with my microphone and my iPad and GarageBand, and I just sang a vocal track with it. And then I could cut him out completely, listen to the vocal. But when I listened to the vocal, I went, wow, that sounds different than I thought it was. Sounds good. It sounds sort of wistful and thoughtful. And then I went, maybe Evan was right.
Yeah.
and so then I got musicians on the ground. M. Greiner, who's a friend of mine.
Great.
Yeah, a Juno nominee kind of musician. She used to sing with Bowie. And so she said, could I put a piano track underneath? And a friend of mine, Joe Corcoran, could he put some stuff? I'm like, well, sure.
And you got all the blessings from Bowie and the record company? And
eventually. Once they put that stuff under, then suddenly I wanted to redo my vocal track. So I did another couple layers of vocal track with GarageBand on top. We had this kind of killer track, and then Evan said, you have to make a video. You're in space. So I was like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Now we need permission from Bowie. So we started working it through, and fortunately, when I finally got through to the right person, which was sort of the legal person in Bowie's organization, I thought, I'll phone her from space because, that'll help convince her.
Sure, right.
Wow.
And when I got through to her, she was sitting at her desk in London, England, and I listened to her, and I was going, she doesn't sound English, and she's from Canada.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, okay, great. So she talked about it. We talked back and forth. Once she realized that this was for real, someone was phoning her from the space station. We got to the bottom line, which means I had to pay a fee. We had to pay a licensing fee of €8.
Oh.
That's what it cost, €8. And we got their permission. Bowie loved it, gave us the green light, the audio track. So then now Evan said, quick, you got to make a video. So I'm like, on a Saturday afternoon, I'm racing around. It's a busy place, a space station.
Right.
I did some video recordings of myself floating around singing and sent them down to Evan. He worked with a guy named Andrew Tidby who did the editing with him. And they sent back one iteration. They said, hey, try and get a shot of yourself in the cupola with your face and the world in the background.
That's a great shot.
But I set up two lights that were like centimeters from my face, like Krieg lights or whatever, right there next to my face to make it, you don't really see them in the shot, but that was the only way to get enough light so the Earth and I were both visible. I didn't even know how it looked. I didn't have any time. I just recorded it and went, fine, off to Earth, make the best of it. And they put together that video, which just came out great.
And the song.
And by the time I landed back on Earth, I think 7 million people, one day later, millions and millions of people seen it. And now, if you count all the rebroadcasts, it's been seen hundreds of millions of times around the world. So Evan was right.
Evan was right.